Hello, Rasta.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So my first question is, your resume is filled with so many awards and distinguished honors and collaborations with some of the most renowned choreographers and companies today. So I was wondering if you want to tell us a bit about your career thus far and about some moments that stand out for you.
You want me to talk about myself?
Yes.
Always something that makes everyone uncomfortable.
I know.
I
You're a performer.
I am a performer. I am very flattered to say that I think my success is due to my training.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some of the best training in the world. I went to a boarding school in Washington, D.C. called the Rasta Academy.
Mm-hmm.
60 students live there every year. I had a fanatical father that really pushed me hard to be the best. And I guess how the whole dance thing started is I was living in the Virgin Islands around 2, and I got into a motor vehicle accident and I broke my leg.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said that I would have difficulty walking.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't, get into some physical therapy, my dad basically said that that's not something he could live with,
Mm-hmm.
me having a problem
Yeah.
walking. So he decided to put me into gymnastics and martial arts and swimming, basketball, every possible activity. And then at 7, he said, after the leg was much better and everything was fine, he said, if you don't improve your behavior in dance, in martial arts, I'm going to put you in dancing.
Okay.
In a tutu.
Okay.
And I said, that's for girls. You're never going to do that. And the next day I was in dance as punishment. But the teacher thought I was very gifted and coordinated. I've always been able to pick up choreography, which is, I think, a very important part of dancing. The success that I've had working with the companies and some extraordinary dancers, again, I credit it to my teaching, to my upbringing, genetics, my parents. And it's very surreal. I don't know how to explain it. I look at the resume and I'm blessed,
Yeah. So are there some teachers that
Dao
you
Zhang,
really remember?
yeah, so Dao Zhang, Rodi Jurgensen, Rudolf Karatsian, Anatoly Kucheruk, all my teachers at the Rasta Academy, Fran and Jim Peters. I mean, I've had my resume, 10 resumes of teachers for the one resume that I have. So, from martial arts to gymnastics to all different types. So, I just feel very fortunate to have worked with them and to be able to continue what I do. I think dance chooses you. It's such a particular career that it chooses you. That's all I can say.
That's great. So you formed the Bad Boys of Dance in 2005, and what was it exactly that prompted you to form that group?
I think throughout my career I've always admired male dancers, from Nijinsky to Nureyev to Baryshnikov, and of course never had a chance to meet or work with Nureyev or Nijinsky. Did have a chance to meet and work with Misha. But I've always had a yearning for the camaraderie and the brotherhood of the male dancer, and I've always, from the boarding school I went to, having male colleagues with a male instruction, I always felt, we could push each other to our limit. So when I decided to start a company, or when I had the idea of wanting to start a company, I really wanted the healthy competition, the healthy camaraderie between guys to push each other to be the best we could be. I also took a page out of rock bands. You look at the Beatles, you look at the Rolling Stones, and even NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, whatever, and you say, well, there must be some sort of success with guys in groups. I think that dance doesn't necessarily have a company like that. And I think it could be original, and I think it could be clever, and I think it could be fun and athletic and sexy, and something that really helps to bridge the gap between an older audience and today's, more youthful audience. And I feel that that's a huge problem, because when I've done most of my performances, I always looked out and I said, wow, they're just a lot of old people. There are some young people, but there's just a majority of older people. And there's nothing wrong. I hope to be old and rich one day. But I was trying to figure out what could make it more appealing. What does dance have to look like to be more appealing to my generation, to a younger generation? And I tried to answer that with Bad Boys to Dance.
So are you happy with the answer?
Yeah, I am. So far, it's been an exciting route. We
Great.
premiered in 2007. We've been all over the world. We just got back from a 12-week tour in Europe. We are doing over 150 shows a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of work, but it is exciting. And we do see the audiences getting younger and younger. So it's great.
That's great. So you do say it's a lot of work, so it
Yeah.
takes me to a different kind of question, actually. That one of the female stars of the show, Rasta Thomas, she's
Yeah.
your wife.
Yeah.
So, and you both work in the same field, so can you describe us a typical day in the life of...
Yelling and screaming and love. No, it's wonderful. You know, we met at a local studio in Maryland when I was 10 and she was 9. And the teachers paired us up, and we started dancing together in competitions. The first song we performed to was from the Disney movie Aladdin, A Whole New World. And we did well at the competitions together, and we've just been friends forever. We did some international competitions. We did Jackson together, and we have always been training partners, you know, dancing, and that's what we do. That's what we've always done. And I've always had a crush on her, and I've always loved her, and you know. 10 years later, you know, decided to ask her to marry me finally. So, yeah.
So how's your daily life?
Our daily
like
life?
A typical
Oh,
day.
we have a daughter now.
Oh, yeah?
We have a 2-year-old daughter, thank you. We wake up in the morning, we feed ourselves, we feed our daughter, we change the diaper, we drop her off at my daughter's grandparents' house, Adrian's parents. We go to the studio, usually 10 to 4, rehearse, come back, pick up the daughter. Adrian cooks, I clean a little bit, do some emails, play with baby, and do it the next day. On the weekends, we usually have shows and performances. If it's less than a 1-week trip away, we'll leave our daughter Anami Halo at home with her grandparents. And if it's longer than a week, we'll always invite them to come with us.
Good.
If it's longer than 2 or 3 weeks, we'll insist that they come. Yeah,
So would you like to see your daughter a dancer?
Again, I feel that dance chooses you. She does dance recreationally. She loves the limelight. She loves to perform around the house. So, and I think her seeing us do it all the time, there's probably some hard wiring in her brain that, you know, is leading her to believe that she wants to dance. And so I think at this age, you know, wanting to dance is great. You know, what parent doesn't want their little girl to dance, to want to dance. But I think taking it to that next step of it becoming a career, there are a lot of things that have to happen. And if she wants that, of course, we'll support her decision. You know, and we'll make sure she knows the pros and cons. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's right now. It's still princesses and ballerinas. So.
Yeah. So the dancers in Bad Boys,
Yeah.
they all have very impressive resumes and competitions and backgrounds in several forms of dance.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you can give us a bit of detail about their specific backgrounds.
Yeah, I think what makes a bad boy is their versatility. It's their ability to shift between different styles of dance, from jazz to hip hop to contemporary to ballet. You'll notice that they're good and wonderful at a lot of things, and I think that is their best virtue. They're good looking, they're athletic, they're young. They are America's, I would say, America's finest in regards to what they do. America has these competitions, these national competitions, and most of my dancers have won or been affiliated with these competitions. So in a weird way, you go to a ballet conservatory to get into a ballet company, and you kind of do these American competitions to go to LA or to do some musicals, and now hopefully to be a bad boy. You know, that's what I would like to say. I'm trying to create a marketplace for these dancers to share their art, because they're extraordinarily talented, they're extraordinarily gifted, and I don't feel that there are enough outlets for them. So if I can help 10 or 20 dancers a year to have a career, then I feel that it's a good match. And again, they're just extraordinary and very entertaining. And I think what is fundamentally different with maybe my dancers and others is that, and I don't want to say this in a funny way, but they just love to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And what I feel is missing in dancing so much is the sheer joy to dance. When I was working with ballet companies, it was a job 99% of the day. There's a lot of unhappiness in these ballet companies, and it's just a job, and you do what you're told because it's been done this way for 100 years, and you don't question it, and you hold that arabesque, and it's tradition. And with our company, it's what do we want to do? How do we want to do it? What gets us excited? So every day that they come in, they're excited about the show because it's constantly changing. It's happening in real time. It's not that we're a museum trying to hold on to something and not changing it. We're saying, well, if we want to change it, we're going to change it. So it's very spontaneous and it's very in the moment. And I think that that is what is needed for them, and I think that's also what's needed for the audience to feel that this is present. This is dancing of today.
Yeah.
You know?
So this brings me actually to the next question, which is, given how many styles you incorporate and given this emphasis on the aliveness of the thing, how much and what is it that your dancers bring to the table in the rehearsal process, and how do they contribute to the final result, to the choreography, to the shaping?
I think Adrian gives them the phrases and the foundation of the choreography. I help to direct them. And I think what we request in our dancers is just for them to make it their own, for them to have fun with it, and not have fun with it with just the technical abilities that they can portray the movement with, but their personalities, to show if they're funny, if they're silly, if they're serious, to bring a personality to it at the right times. So I want to say that you get a flavor of who they are as people, which I think is not something you can traditionally see when you go to see ballet. You can see Albrecht, you can see the Prince, you can see Basilio, you can see Giselle, but you really don't know much about the dancer portraying that is. And so I'm saying, let's work on those personalities, because we're all human, we all have something to share. So if we can share ourselves and do that, then I think that's important. That's what's missing. Personalities are missing in the dance world, I think. So we're trying to give a little piece of that with every show we do.
So talking about choreography,
Yeah.
do you have some favorite choreographers? Or
A lot. So many. Yuri Killian, Twyla Tharp, Laura Lubavitch, Nacho Duato, Matt Zach, my wife. Yeah, I think there are a lot of wonderful choreographers out there, and not as many as I would like to see, because I would say that there definitely aren't enough. There aren't many great choreographers. There are a lot of good choreographers, but a good choreographer, a great choreographer is harder to find than a great dancer. And the fact that the dancers are dependent upon the choreography, it's sort of a funny situation, because I feel that the dancers' abilities in 2009 are so extraordinary that they can literally do anything, and they're limited by the choreography that they're able to do, or that they're able to be given due to whatever company they're working for. I was never satisfied as a dancer with just one company, because I always wanted to work with Alvin Ailey and ABT at the same time. There were always two companies in every city that I was attracted to and wanted to be a part of. And unfortunately, no, you have to fit in this box, you have to fit in this box. So that was one of the reasons that I also started Bad Boys, was to break the rules and say, well, why do I have to just be this or that? I want to be what I am, and stop trying to define me.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're about, and the dancers reflect that.
So if you were not a dancer, what do you think you would?
Probably something with dancing. I think I started Bad Boys in case, knock on wood, that day happens, I get injured. Dancers always one injury away from unemployment. It's a sad reality. So I think directing and producing it and putting my spin on what I think the future of dance is, and where I think it should go, where I think it's come from, and the evolution of it. And if I can bring it to a new audience, a younger market, or just a new market, I think, in some small way, then I think I'm doing my job. I think dance right now is more popular than it has been in a while, in movies and on Broadway and on TV. There are definitely millions of people watching it on TV at their house that aren't necessarily ticket buyers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What has to happen to make that work? Why can't they be ticket buyer? Because truthfully, Swan Lake or Sleeping Beauty isn't entertaining to them. They're not the traditionalists. They don't know about the history of it, and to sit through a 3-hour ballet is extraordinarily painful unless you know exactly what you're watching, and you can relate to that. I don't think anyone watching ballet will take away the physical beauty of the dancers, because that's present. But after 5 minutes of that, you start to wonder, well, what are these, gestures, and what is this old, dated, boring
Mm-hmm.
form of entertainment? And I think that if I can, my future, I think, is going to be to hopefully take down that barrier that dance is boring, and to hopefully show that there is a way to get you out of the couch at your house and into the theater
Mm-hmm.
and enjoying something.
Mm-hmm. So it seems that your life is so much filled with dance. So I was wondering that, are there activities or a way you want to spend your free time that is unwinding and
I enjoy
your little pleasure?
yeah. I enjoy thinking of new librettos for stories, but again,
Mm-hmm.
it's all dance related. Sometimes I enjoy writing, going to the movies,
Mm-hmm.
just spending time with my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
seeing what interests her. She's really big into drawing circles now, so she'll just keep drawing circles, and that's fun. Sometimes I draw circles with her, and it just takes my mind off of things, kind of like a rock garden, So. Yeah, unfortunately, I would say that this chapter of my life is dedicated to dance, all things dance. So unfortunately, it's hard to pull away, unless there's a national disaster happening that I have to be aware of. It's all dance.
So for the people who want to know the real you, the non-performer you, I'd like to ask you.
Goofy guy. I don't know.
No, but I'd like to ask you, what is a thing about yourself that you love, and what is a thing about your personality that you'd love to change?
I love my idealism. I love how I feel that if you are true to yourself and you have the knowledge and talent to back it up, you will succeed. Whatever you set at, if you're properly prepared, you'll get to Oz. What I don't like about myself, I tend to overanalyze every aspect of life that I'm involved in, and sometimes because you're always micromanaging, and sometimes you're always thinking of what can go wrong and thinking of the next step, you don't necessarily always enjoy the present. You're always forward thinking, and you think, well, if that happens, and then that happens, and then that happens, and you end up not enjoying our interview.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. So thank you.
So, and accordingly, what is it about others, either in work or in your interpersonal life, that you like and attracts you to them, and what is it you...
The fundamental quality I look for in another human, I would say, is growth and improvement. It can be physically, spiritually, mentally, in any aspect of life, as long as there's growing in a positive way. As long as they're trying to improve any aspect of their life, that means they're not the same. Change is inevitable, and I think as long as someone tries to change for the better, I'm not going to judge you when we meet, what your problems are, what my problems are, but from that moment, I feel that it's my responsibility to help motivate you, it's your responsibility to help motivate me, and we have to, make the best out of life together. So I'm a firm believer that if you're a leech and you're, complaining and this, and you're not being about your problem, whatever, or being about life. I won't say everything's a problem, because life is beautiful, but if you're not enjoying life to some degree, if there's not a light at the end of the tunnel in one avenue or aspect of your life, then I have nothing for you. We can't necessarily kick it. So that's something that I feel is important, that I love to see in people. So is the hope for more. And if they don't have that, I think that's the answer to my same question. If they don't have that, that's a big turnoff. But it's not judgmental. It's just from the time we meet, let's make something happen. To make the world a better place.
So you kind of answered my last question, which is, what do bad boys bring into the dance scene today? I don't know if you still want to talk a bit more about it.
I think they bring dancing.
Yeah.
I think they bring the sheer joy and fun. They're sexy, they're athletic, they're dynamic. What dance is supposed to be a a joyous experience. And I think that, you know, through donations of ignorant corporations and people, I will say, I'll be upset and adamant about this, that some choreographers of today are in a very privileged place that is selfish and self-righteous and is plaguing art, the dance world of art, because they have the right to to not care about the audience. They're in such a privileged position that it's masturbation. They can do what they want, and they have already been put up on this platform that they are untouchable, and that I'm supposed to enjoy that. And the truth is, if you really ask yourself, do you enjoy what you're seeing, and you don't listen to what this person's saying or this person's saying, you're going to be like, no, what is this crap? And I think that we're not in any way saying that we're not doing crap, because, you know, that's anyone's opinion. But we're trying to say, at least we're having fun with it. And at least we're trying to do what we think you would want to see. So our first objective is to satisfy the customer, to satisfy the audience, and to make them understand that we're doing this for you. And I think that most dance companies do it for themselves. They do it because this is what we think dance should be, and we don't care what you think. And I think that that's a little selfish. However, you know, if you're in that position, that's nice. That's nice. So I'm not going to say that you didn't do something right, but please take a page out of being a little more considerate, because it's painful.
So what are your hopes for the future of that work?
I think, you know, to start multiple companies and to start multiple shows. And, you know, I really think to spread the word through family, good, wholesome, and fun family entertainment, and then to go down a more artistic path, you know, of whatever my spin on some artsy-fartsy ideas could be. But I think right now it's just to continue to create a product, to work with different composers in the future and set designers, and try to make dance accessible to a younger generation. That's my goal. I think there's a dying breed to dance patrons, and unless something changes, their kids are not necessarily going to the ballet. Their kids are not interested in what their parents are interested in. And I think that's the test of time, you know, that's happened many, many times. So I think there needs to be an introduction company. If you've never seen dance, there needs to be a company that can introduce you to what the possibilities of the wonderment and the awe that dance could bring. And I think that hopefully that is the foundation of where Bad Boys can stand. So it can be a first step into this beautiful world called dance.
That's a beautiful one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
My pleasure too. Thank you.